Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Good morning. It is not the morning, and it is not the Monday, but it is Sunday, which is a fun day.
It's true.
So, W, it's two V's, but it's called a W. Let's talk about it.
We could so we have two options. We can either start calling it a double V, or we can start making our W's as looping U's.
Oh,
Like
which is generally how I do it.
You do loops?
Loops. Well, when I'm right, I don't know. Do I have a W on here anywhere? No, it's a double V. Yeah, it's totally a double V. Yeah, not even close.
Just calling it a double V.
Double V. Let's do it. Just be like,
next time you have to spell,
double V.
Next time you have to spell something for someone.
I'm pretty sure this would get blurred out in Britain. Just double V. Isn't that like flipping somebody off in Britain?
Demonetized.
Demonetized in Britain.
Demonetized?
Well, knowing Britain, definitely demonetized. In Britain, they will probably arrest me because I did something that they didn't like.
Yeah.
Like that's what. Oh, you said something on the internet? You're gonna get arrested.
Yeah, that created anxiety for someone else, so you will now be arrested.
Yeah. Double V. Yeah. Sorry.
Careful.
Would we change the pronunciation of it too? Would we then pronounce it Vat?
We could just do that anyway.
Ah, sweet. Well then.
Well, this is the Scrimmage, by the way.
I'm Daniel Hargrove.
Justin Domashevitz. Trusty producer Andrew Gross is here with us as well.
We have sponsors. Somehow.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
Because we just talked about double V's.
And the sponsors are Spivey Realty Group and the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. Thank you to those sponsors. Please, if you want to support us, support them because they're the ones who make this show happen. And
right.
We have so much great local stuff to talk about.
Yes.
Today.
Lots of good ones.
And it's just a puppy getting scolded in the background. It's fine.
Mavis. How can you scold that face?
Daniel, you and I broadcasted an Aberdeen Monte girls basketball game yesterday that went right down to the wire, 1-point game.
Yes.
And then I stuck around and watched the Aberdeen Monte boys varsity game that was right afterwards, and have some fun stuff to talk about from that game as well. So, I mean, should we just round it up? Should we go? Should we get going? Go getting with the roundup of locals?
Let's up-round it. Montesano swept a co-ed doubleheader at Aberdeen on Saturday. The Bulldog girls won the opener 51-50. We broadcasted that game for Quack, otherwise known as KWOK, and we'll have full stats and analysis from the game after the roundup. For Montesano, it was their second straight co-ed doubleheader sweep as the two teams beat to 9-0 in league openers on Thursday. The Lady Bulldogs topped the Beavers 62-22. Yikes. Jilly Dalen led Monte with 21 points and grabbed 8 boards in that game. Tiandra Olsen stuffed the stat sheet with 14 points, 9 boards, 9 steals, and 5 assists.
She's good.
Yeah.
On the boys' side, Monte beat Aberdeen 67-59 for its third straight win. It was the Bobcats' first time playing since December 14th. It's like almost 3 weeks since they played a game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Or longer, maybe? I don't know. I'm bad at maths. Mason Fry led the Bulldogs with 23 points and 9 rebounds while making 13 of 18 free throws and throwing down a dunk on which he definitely did not travel. Tarek Gunter made all 5 of his field goal attempts and scored 14 points for Monte. Caden Grubb narrowly missed a double-double with 11 points and 9 boards, and Nathan Dowler grabbed 7 rebounds, dished out 7 assists to go along with his 3 points. Zadowla. Jacob Cusada led Aberdeen in scoring with 18 points, including 5 3-pointers, and Riker Scott was right behind him with 14 points on an efficient 50% shooting from the field. Jaden Gladson led the Bobcats with 5 rebounds, and Isaac Garcia led with 5 steals. Xanto Rea also had 3 steals. On Thursday, Monte's boys won a home game against Tenino 56-35. Gunter racked up 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists in that game. Grubb scored 14, pulled down 9 boards, and dished out 2 assists. Fry recorded a double-double with 11 points and 13 rebounds to go along with 2 blocks.
Elma's girls basketball team opened league play with a 50-36 win at Rochester on Thursday. Kiki Bowl scored a game-high 23 points for the Eagles, and Olivia Moore added 17 more. Elma was back in action on Saturday and fell to Kalama 56-43.
Elma's boys played host to Rochester on Thursday and picked up a league opening win 62-29. 3 Eagles scored in double figures, led by Trayden Carter's 14 points. Carter also racked up 5 boards, 3 assists, 5 steals. Isaac McGaffey recorded a double-double with 13 points and 11 rebounds, and Theo Flores scored 13 points to go along with 4 boards and 3 steals.
Hoquiam's girls basketball team won 49-41 at Kalama on Monday. Double-double machine. Sydney Gordon had 17 points and 14 boards for the Grizzlies. Aaliyah Kennedy, also a double-double machine, had 13 points and 12 boards. Lexi LeBounty narrowly missed a double-double with 10 points and 9 steals. 5 assists as well, while Caitlin Broadhead chipped in 9 points and 5 dimes. That's an assist. Hoquiam lost to Doodle Lake, not a real lake, 67-19 on a Saturday. Dang. Toodle must be good.
Must be real good, because that Hoquiam team is no slouch.
Yeah.
So that must be a really good Toodle Lake team. North Beach's boys basketball team opened league play with a 65-44 win at Chief Leshai on Friday. The Hyaks trailed 33-24 at half, but took the lead in the third frame by outscoring Leshai 17-3.
Whoa.
JJ Eastman led North Beach with 26 points, including 11 in a dominant fourth quarter. Eastman also grabbed 14 rebounds, blocked 7 shots,
Whoa.
swiped 7 steals.
Whoa!
Noah Aquino added 14 points, 3 steals, and 2 blocks, and Parker Johnson notched 10 points and 5 boards. The Hyaks made the short trip to Tahola on Saturday and lost 77-47.
Whoa. Tohola. It's a team to watch.
Yeah.
Raymond South Bend's girls basketball team beat the Rock with some fungus on it. No, wait. Moss isn't a fungus. That's a fun way to say mossy rock. Damp
Rock's pretty fun.
Damp pebble? Yeah, you're right. Mossy Rock is good enough by itself. I don't even need to mess with that one. Mossy Rock, 52-41 at South Bend on Friday. Ava Bauer scored 13 of her 15 points in the third quarter to help the Ravens take the lead. Bauer finished with 6 rebounds and 3 assists as well. Cassie Koski led RSB with 16 points and 16 boards.
That's a lot.
Wow. And Megan Kongay had 8 points and 7 assists. On Monday, RSB beat Willapa Valley 61-15. Whew. Koski led the way with 19 points and 7 steals.
In off-the-mat wrestling news, Aberdeen's Felicia Bell has signed a national letter of intent to wrestle at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Nice.
Following former
Otherwise
Grace Harbor,
known as UNLV.
That's later in the
Oh, sorry.
Following Grays Harbor College coach Kevin Pine, who will be establishing a new women's wrestling program at UNLV.
Nice.
Bell placed 3rd in the state last year as a junior and hit the 100 career win mark last week, the most in program history.
That's awesome.
And that will conclude the local sports roundup.
You know, the reason why I said also known as UNLV in there, because University of Nevada, Las Vegas sounds like a small directional school until
It
you're
does,
like, oh, wait, UNLV, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Small directional school.
It still is.
Still in the
But
mountains.
it's a bigger time one.
Couldn't
yeah,
make it
it's
into
a
the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Didn't want to add state to their name.
Yeah. And we only allow
UNLV
states.
State would be good, though.
Wait,
That'd be a
did
good
Gonzaga throw state on theirs yet?
I think they
Gonzaga
have to.
State?
No, I don't.
I think it's in the contract. It's
Yeah.
in the paperwork.
Gonzaga State.
I forgot about Gonzaga.
Dude, that would be so funny. All of the kids who went there because it's like a preppy private school are like, what? No, I'm going to a state school? I'm out.
All of a sudden, they can't recruit.
That is what Bodie sounds like.
Bodie totally doing that. Bodie and don't we know? Isn't there
Michaela Stanfield's there, but also so is McKinley Dalen.
Yeah,
a lot of Monte kids there right now playing sports.
And they're just all gonna be like,
That's literally just because they didn't want to buy new gear.
Yeah,
they just wanted to keep being Bulldogs.
Oh, that's a good point. It's the wrong colors, just slightly though.
I don't think when you play sports at a D1 school, you pay for gear though. Like, have you ever seen the videos that Sam Winter posted about all the shoes and stuff he got for playing basketball at Boise State?
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. He actually had so much at one time, he was like doing a giveaway.
He was giving stuff away.
Yeah.
And I was like, why don't I have the same size shoes?
I didn't get anything.
I didn't get anything either.
Yeah. It's okay.
He doesn't care about us.
No, that's
small
fine.
timers.
It's fine. I mean, has he been on the show one time as a guest co-host? Yes. But
dude, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we had Braden and Sam at the same time one time. Yeah, that was really fun.
Down in the basement.
Nice kids.
Yeah.
Grown-ups now.
Dude, speaking of grown-ups now, and also a former guest, Joel DeBlanco got married recently.
I saw that.
I was like, man.
Wow.
I don't know why this makes me think he's more grown up than, playing in the NFL and the CFL, but for some reason it did.
I mean, I played wiffle ball against Joel. He seemed pretty grown up to me.
Yeah.
That's a grown man. When you're like 6'3", 245 pounds of solid muscle, I think you're a grown man.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. You're probably right. Yeah. So stuff.
Let's jump into the jump into the recaps. I want to start with the girls game, because that was the one that we watched together. I think we'll probably have more on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, for starters, right off the bat, I don't want it to define this game because it actually was really entertaining and there was a lot of really good performances in it. Buttload of fouls. Maybe the most fouls I've ever seen in a high school game. 50, if you include the tech that started the game, because we're assuming there was a scorebook issue. Yeah. Well, I don't know if we ever confirmed that.
One of the Aberdeen scoreboard operators told me today at church that it was because the official person running the Aberdeen scorebook did not get there soon enough.
Oh, so it wasn't ready for the referees to look at it beforehand?
Well, the scorebook was.
Oh.
Like, that was the weird thing. He said, no, their book was filled out, but the person who was supposed to be there apparently is supposed to be there like 5 minutes before the game or something like that. And didn't get there till like 2 minutes before the game.
I've seen games start with a tech because like somebody writes in the wrong number or something. Yeah. I've never seen that one before. That's new.
Yeah.
But if you include that foul, 50 fouls combined. 30 fouls 30 fouls committed by Aberdeen, 19 committed by Montesano, and then there was the tech.
Yeah.
So not having been there, I don't know yet whether this was one of the most dirty games on both sides that you guys have ever watched, or one of the worst officiated games.
I wouldn't call it dirty.
Okay.
But are you saying were they hacking a lot?
Yeah,
There's a difference.
Like, there were 50 fouls called.
So I would say
were they generally
there were 200 fouls committed.
Good fouls. So like it was a super physical.
What I would say
game.
I thought your
not
dad
just bad officiating.
Your dad placed it kind of correctly. I felt like when I told him after the game, I was like, "There's 50 fouls," and he was like, "Wow, was it officiating?" And I was like, "Well." In the first quarter, everything was a foul. Like you breathed on somebody and it was a foul. And then after that, they kind of earned it. And he was like, did they adjust thinking we're going to get a foul call anyway? We might as well deserve it. And I was like, almost. That's like it had the opposite effect that normally you see tight officiating kind of makes everybody back off. But I didn't see anybody back off at all.
Officiating would only work like that if it's accurate.
Oh, that's a good point. If
as a player, I tried to get away with something and didn't, then I back off. If as a player I played clean and got called, guess what? Next time I'm not gonna play clean.
And it wasn't like anything was dirty.
Yeah,
it was physical.
Should say,
I get what you're saying. I just want to
I
emphasize that.
I'm going to have my hand right up in your face.
Yes.
It was also incredibly composed. For the amount of fouls. And, not just fouls, but general chaos. Loose balls, scrambles, steals, turnovers. This game had all of it. And I never really felt like at any point like anybody on the court lost their composure. Not the coaches, not the players. It all seemed to be that they did a pretty good job of understanding what the game was and just rolling with it. It was unfortunate for Aberdeen in the end because they had 3 players foul out in the second half.
Wow.
One of them in the third quarter happened to be their best post player.
Yep.
That hurt them a lot.
Devastating.
But I definitely felt like these 2 teams are physical. They're defensive. They like to play fast. They both like to play in chaos. And they already played once this year. And it's sort of how the game started. Like, it was heavily in Monte's favor the first time they played. But it was like that. Like, tons of turnovers, fouls all over the place. And it was almost like the referees decided, all right, we know these 2 teams. We need to set the tone earlier. This game's going to get out of control.
Yep.
And they tried.
And then it
didn't change the way that the teams were playing. They just kept going, like cycling in fresh bodies.
Yep.
Sophia Knutson, we're going to talk about her a lot, I assume.
Yeah.
But she got 3 fouls within like the first 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, of the game.
And didn't come out right away. She did end up sitting for a couple minutes later in the first half, but then came back in, played almost the whole game, I felt like, which is super important. They needed her.
Yeah, that break was her
only. And she played with 3 fouls for like 3.5 quarters. It was amazing to be able to. She's a sophomore.
Yeah.
So to be able to have that level of maturity in your game that you can play without fouling in that scenario, I thought was really impressive.
And play well, too. Like, I mean, there's multiple situations where she was put in kind of a bad spot and somehow still played good defense and careful defense.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, wow, I'm so impressed with the composure there that she didn't just let the person score, because sometimes we see that too, where they're like, you'll see like the best player in foul trouble and they'll just literally like watch the other person go by for an easy layup.
Exactly.
It wasn't that.
No.
But she was able to get herself in position, play good defense as well. So I was super impressed by that. Also, to get it out of the way early, the amount of free throws, Justin. I was trying to explain because I told my wife last night, I was like, they shot 53. Montesano shot 53 free throws.
Yeah.
And she was like, that sounds like a lot, but I don't have a good reference point.
Yeah.
Like, what's normally a lot? And I'm like, 30 is a lot. Like, I can probably count on one hand, maybe less, how many times I've seen a team shoot 30 free throws in a game. And this is 53. Like, this is insane. I've never seen that anywhere close to that before. And they were... Bad thing was they're 21 for 53 from the free throw line. If they would have made, I mean, shoot, they make 10 more free throws, is a completely different game.
Yeah, I mean, and that was part of it. Is there was a lot of lead changes early on. I think from our statistician Rick Anderson, there was like 8 in the first half. I want to say
something like that.
And then the third quarter started with a lot of back and forth. And then there was a point that Monte started to pull away a little bit. And when I say pull away, I mean like 9 points. Like it's not.
I think their largest lead was 10, and that didn't last a full possession.
Exactly. Like there was a point that it seemed like they started to pull away, and then Aberdeen just stayed in it. They kept fighting. I mean, as it was as entertaining as I think a game could possibly be, with 50 fouls and a team shooting 53 free throws.
I mean, you look at the third quarter, the stat book of the third quarter is just super weird looking.
You mean because
for
Tiander Olsen didn't have any points?
Tiander Olsen was out like the whole time, and maybe that's why.
That was where the fouls
That's the big thing is Tiander had 4. She didn't end up fouling out, but she had 4 fouls, so she sat the entire third quarter. And because of that, that's a big part of it. Let's see, McKenna Blankis had a 3-pointer, and Jilly had a 2-pointer. Other than that, they shot in the third quarter alone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 14 free throws in the third quarter alone, and they made 6 of them. 6 for 14 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of markings on like the scoring part, and so normally that means like it's a busy quarter, but it was just a ton of free throws, and yet Aberdeen couldn't really capitalize because Monte outscored them 11-10 in that quarter.
Yeah, and it ended up being a 1-point game, at least in part because Bentley Brown banked in a 3-pointer for Aberdeen with like I want to say 12 seconds left,
something like that. Yeah.
But going back to Tiander Olsen for just a second, Monte's point guard, again, sophomore, a lot of really young girls playing it. These are two very young teams I think are going to be good a couple years down the road as well. But Teander had a point where Aberdeen kind of seized the momentum and took like a 3 or 4 point lead. Went on maybe an 8-0 run or something like that. And there was at that point that Teander just kind of took over. And she had on 6 possessions, I think she had 2 layups and then 2 assists, both to Ava Schrader. Mm-hmm. And that got Monte back in the lead. And I don't think they relinquished the lead, but by maybe more than a point or 2 after that.
Yeah.
So I for the most part, it was a game that was kind of controlled by Monte, but I think number one, you got to love the fight in the Bobcats hanging in there, trying to chip away and getting within a point at the end. But also, I don't have the score from it, but the first time these two teams played, they didn't get to finish the game because there was a very significant injury. But Monte just had it. They had them. Like right away, they were stealing almost every pass. Aberdeen was struggling to break the press. And the Bobcats not only like strategically came up with good ways, they started throwing it over the top and being able to beat the press over the top. But once they stretched it out and Monte had to guard that, then they were finding ways to pass through the press. I think if you're an Aberdeen fan, like just, you can see too, Curtis Eccles told you in the pregame interview that they've been scoring much better recently.
Yeah.
And you could see the difference in this team from that early season game to now.
Yep.
They're a much better team than they were then.
Absolutely. And they lean a lot on those sophomores. Wait, is
Bentley
a junior now?
No, she's a sophomore.
So Bentley and Sophia are both sophomores. And they lean a lot on them. And Bentley, it's kind of easier to see because she puts up the scoring totals. She's an excellent shooter. She finds a way to get buckets. Mm-hmm. Puts up 17 points in this one. So, I mean, even without that banked-in three-pointer, which was huge for the score at the time, she still has an excellent scoring performance in this one. She led all scorers with 17. McKenna Blankus was actually the second leading scorer in the game with 14. And she came in off the bench, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, sixth man, and then just was like, why take her off the floor when she was shooting so well?
Yeah.
But Sophia then, like in the first couple games I've watched her, she's done everything right, but she doesn't score very much. Mm-hmm. She dropped 6 points in the fourth quarter to spur on that comeback. A couple of big buckets, a couple of really big buckets.
Nice plays around the basket.
Really good plays around the basket. One was a beautiful pass from Bentley Brown on a backdoor cut. And all of a sudden you look up and she has 11 points. And all we had been doing the whole day was talking about how she was like controlling everything for Aberdeen, even though she didn't have the points to go with it. And then somehow, ends up with double-digit points as well. It was just, she played such an important role in this game all over the place. And not the least bit, what you already mentioned was she picked up 3 fouls in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I got to imagine Coach Eccles was like, hey, I need you on the floor. Yeah. I can't take you out right now.
Yeah.
Please stop fouling. And then she still played just an effective of a game and yet eliminated fouls from it and was huge.
Agreed. I thought she was phenomenal. She was like the ball handler for most of the game. Yep. Shay Dunlap came in and did a pretty good job at that too. She's only a freshman.
Yeah.
So you got a sophomore and a freshman being your primary ball handlers.
Against Deandra Olsen.
Exactly. It's a really tough task. And then I did think though, when Aberdeen was starting to get into half court sets, and we talked about this on the broadcast, finding success in ball movement with less dribbling. Yes. Abby Manio was a huge part of that. Because at times where other people were starting to dribble and scramble and panic a little bit, she always seemed really composed with the ball in her hands, made some really nice passes to set other people up. And
then big steals in the press, too.
Exactly, yeah. I also mentioned the great post player, the super strong post player for Aberdeen that fouled out in the third quarter. That was Olivia Lamont.
Yeah.
She was like going up against Jilly Dalen and Ava Schrader, who are like rebound machines for Montesano, and she was kind of having her way. Olivia was in the paint. Like she's so strong.
Yeah.
That was a big hit for them when she fouled out, but also when Kennedy Colozzi fouled out because Kennedy only listed at 5'5", and she's a freshman too. Mm-hmm. But she plays with such grit. She plays. Yep. She doesn't play mean, but she plays like hard and physical and feisty, and so she's in there like fighting for rebounds and all that stuff too. And she fouled out in the fourth quarter. It was much later in the game, but that was a big blow to Aberdeen as well.
For sure. On the rebounding side, I did think that Sawyer Shoemaker, who came in to play in the post, still did a really good job.
Another sophomore.
Yeah. So, gosh, just a young team. So I think Aberdeen's got some good future ahead of them.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think definitely some bright spots there, but then you also look at Montesano, and they only have 3 seniors on their squad too. Yeah. So some good young girls basketball coming up between Monte and Aberdeen, and then also we've already mentioned Hoquiam, how they're super young as well. So should be a fun league the next few years, instead of what it's been like the past few years before this. It's been Monte and really nobody else.
Yeah.
And I guess Aberdeen's not in the league. They should be.
No, but they're in the area. They always play each other.
Yeah, for sure.
So I kind of ran through my thoughts on a lot of the Bobcat players. 3 seniors I felt like performed really well for them. Abby Manio, Delaney Shoemaker, and then Olivia Lamont. Everyone else who really played was either a sophomore or a freshman.
Yeah.
So super young. On the Montesano side, Josie Forrester, really, really good defensive guard.
Yep. I felt like she dealt with foul trouble too. Like, she didn't end up fouling out, but I feel like she got taken out a lot because she had foul trouble too.
Yeah, very possible.
Yeah.
And I like this was another thing we talked about on the broadcast, the general Monty strategy of, we're going to pressure the crap out of the ball.
Yep.
And then have people ready to jump passing lanes and have really active hands. And that worked really well. I don't know the stats, but they had a ton of steals in the game.
Yeah.
And I think, perimeter defense by Tiander Olsen, Josie Forrester, Reagan Wintrip, that was a huge part of it as well. Ava Schrader and Jilly Dalen. Jilly was playing sick and probably didn't have her best game, but she definitely did not have a bad game.
Yeah, she still had 13 points, 9 rebounds.
13 points and 9 rebounds. So that's what you get from Jilly Dalen on a day when she's sick. But I think Tiander Olsen has really proved how important she is for them as their point guard. Not only is she a great defensive player, but she just makes the offense go. She finishes around the basket exceptionally well. She sets up her teammates for opportunities. So I know during the broadcast we picked both of the point guards as our players of the game for either team, even though neither of them led their team in points. But Tiander Olsen and Sophia Knutson, those were the 2 players that I was really enjoying watching the most.
Yeah, same here. Absolutely. Tiander just plays with such a presence that when she's on the floor and when she's not on the floor, the game's just completely different.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I think we should mention about Jilly, now that you mention it, is Tiander had to come out with foul trouble a little bit, especially like the whole third quarter.
Yeah.
Jilly Dalen was all of a sudden the point guard.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, yeah, just heck of a performance. I think that down the road for this Monte team, I think the addition of McKenna Blankus as a scorer is a huge addition for them. And that was another thing. Ava, this game could have been completely different if a couple things happened. 1, they make more free throws. 2, we know Ava Schrader's good around the basket, and for some reason there was just a lid on the darn hoop.
Yeah, it was weird.
I mean, how many opportunities did we see where the ball went like halfway down and it was just like, nah.
Yeah.
It was crazy how many times that buckets Ava usually makes just kind of lipped out.
I maintain you should get 1 point if your shot goes almost all the way in and then pops out.
I'm good with half a point.
It's got to be 1. It has to be a whole point. So you can't have half points in basketball.
Why not?
Or like you have to get 2 of them to trigger it.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
you have like one in the holster, and you have to get the second one in order to get that point.
Okay. I mean, if we're going to start changing rules willy-nilly, like all of a sudden 5 fouls in a quarter instead of 7 fouls and a half, I mean, let's just do it.
That's a good point. I miss the 1-and-1.
Me too.
I
so
love
much pressure.
A classic 1-and-1.
So much pressure on the front end of a 1-and-1 at the end of the game. No, it's lame. Any change is lame.
Yeah, agreed.
Don't move my cheese.
No more change.
You want to get into the boys' game?
Yeah, let's talk about it a little bit. I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on it, but Aberdeen hasn't played since December 14th. So I know my math is bad, but I think that's a few weeks.
It's a long time.
And in that span, Monty's played like 5 or 6 games.
At least, yeah.
So I think that at least early in the game, it seemed like there was an element of rust. Aberdeen was down like 22-10 pretty early on and really trying to claw back. And they did. They clawed back into the game and made it a really exciting finish. But I thought that I'm going to try to figure out the right way to say this to not make people mad at me.
Tread lightly.
If I, without blaming anything on officiating, if I were an Aberdeen fan, I think I probably would have been pretty frustrated. Not because I think the officials did an egregiously terrible job or like they made horrible calls, but because it seemed to me that like a lot of the close stuff was going Monte's way. Not all of it, but a lot of it, and some in key situations. And I think the Aberdeen players got a little frustrated, and they didn't respond to that by shutting down. They responded to that by playing harder. And by playing harder, then they were also getting more fouls. As they were, number one, frustrated because the fouls weren't going their way, and number two, trying to get back into the game late in the game, and it led to a pretty chaotic one. There was a lot of fouls in this game, an intentional foul, a couple technical fouls, but no fights, like nothing that I could see major really going on. A lot of chippiness. These are two teams that they both cycle in a ton of players. They're like, both of them are constantly, they want to play fast. They want to create chaos. They want to cycle in fresh bodies so everybody's good. That's one thing that is that Coach Galloway for Monte does. We already knew this about Brandon Brooks. He plays a deep bench and he really rotates guys in a lot.
Yep.
Doug Galloway for Montesano is doing this too. Like if you're on the varsity roster, chances are, unless you're a swinger, you're playing. Like not just garbage minutes. Like you're playing. Like they've got freshmen on this roster, and these guys are in the games.
Yeah.
So it was a really fun game to watch. Great win for Monte. Mason Fry played excellent. Tarek Gunter played excellent offensively, and I think that Monte is now getting to the best ball they've been playing.
There's a puppy
right now at the best time going into league play.
Yeah.
So as much as it's like I don't want to throw away the result for Aberdeen, but like it's your first game back from a long break, and they did play a lot better towards the end of the game than they did in the beginning of the game. So I don't want to read too much into it, you know?
Yeah. Especially because I feel like I wasn't at the game, but knowing a lot of the players, this is a team that is largely built on speed and shooting from the outside.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that when you just haven't played in 3 weeks, that's something that you kind of have to be in the rhythm of.
Yeah. Sure.
In game speed.
Over the last few minutes too, they had a lot of opportunities and just weren't hitting shots. And that happens sometimes. You know, you run an offense to get a good look, and that's half the battle, and then the other one is you have to finish the play.
Yep.
And there was a lot of that going on. But I thought, I mean, if I was going down the line here, Riker Scott played really well. Junior guard, hitting jumpers, getting to the basket, had a handful of rebounds as well. Xanto Rea is like he's the little mosquito defender. And I was taking pictures in this game. I was actually getting kind of frustrated because he's so quick that it's hard to get a shot of him. Like, not hard to line it up, but he's hard to get in focus.
Because he's always moving.
He's always moving, and he's always moving really quickly.
Yeah.
And he had a few steals in this game and had big contributions. Taron Lewis, I think, is a transfer in. I'm not sure.
I'm not
I think
remembering
he played for
that
Acosta.
name. Okay, because I was going to say I'm not remembering that name.
Yeah,
from
good
last
physical
year.
player, 6-foot kid, senior. I thought Justin Howard did some good things. Gabe Matthews hit a big shot towards the end of the game when Aberdeen was trying to get their way back into it. Isaac Garcia, not his best game, played phenomenal defensively, and I think probably was on the bad side of some of those real close ticky-tack calls that might have given him a little bit of foul trouble. But he played really well. He's an exceptional athlete. And then obviously Jacob Quezada is a name that we know. Like that guy just hucks and he hits threes. He hit 5 threes in the game. He has a quick trigger, man. He is not afraid to shoot, and he led the team in scoring. Also, Jaden Gladson is a good post presence for them. Probably I don't know about their tallest, but definitely like their biggest player, like guy who plays big and strong inside and grabs rebounds as well. So I thought it's a well balanced. Like the roster has so many different guys who are going to go in and make contributions for you.
Right. Can I see the boys roster? I didn't grab a boys roster from last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, such a deep squad. Lots of juniors. That junior class, I mean, we saw it on the football team, but it transfers over to the basketball team as well. So this is another team that next year should have a big year as well.
Yeah.
They're only losing 3 seniors. Taryn Lewis, as you mentioned, Patrick O'Brien, and Legend Vesey. There's a freshman on here. Did he play? Did you notice?
What was the name?
No, Conan Kelly?
I don't remember.
Gotcha.
What's the number?
21.
Not that I recall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think on the Aberdeen side it's interesting. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do for the rest of the way, but part of the side effect of them they've played 5 games so far, which is about half as many as a lot of the other teams, and some of it was reschedules and stuff.
Right.
You know, they had an early game scheduled against Monte. Monte was still playing football, so they had to reschedule that one. They had an early game against Hoquiam, and then Hoquiam got hit with illness, so they had to reschedule that one.
Yep.
So now they have like 17 games in the next 30 days or something. So they're
lot.
going to be playing a ton.
Yeah. That's going to be kind of hard too.
Yeah.
Just kind of a tough way that schedule worked out for them.
Yeah, because it was already kind of sparse in the early goings, and then having to reschedule those other 2 games really hurt them.
Very small team this year.
Yeah.
Gosh, not much height around the area again this year. I feel like last year we had a little bit.
6'6", 6'7" guy.
I mean, there's not a 6'3" guy on Aberdeen's roster.
No.
And Monte's
got some size.
One.
Not there.
Monte's got Thor Barnes.
Yeah.
He's 6'3".
Yeah, he's
Mason
big,
Fry's
too.
6'3".
Yeah. Caden's about 6'3". What do they have him listed at? 6'2"?
Yeah, 6'2".
Yeah, and
So
then
it's
what's
not-
Brody?
not-
What's Brody Williamson listed at?
6'1".
Yeah, 6'1", 6'2", somewhere in
Yeah.
that range. They got a bunch of guys who are
We're like-
pretty big.
Yeah.
Mason's a guard, so
Yeah, so not like we don't have that like 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" post anywhere.
I don't want to violate the no grubs rule, but
You just
Caden
did.
Caden is like a 6'3", 6'2", 6'3" kid who plays like he's 6'7". He's got such great hops, and he has such a
very
natural ability. He's long. He jumps really well. He has a great natural ability to find the ball in the air too, and he has awesome hands. So, I mean, anytime you see a guy getting like 15, 16, 17 rebounds in a game, especially, at 6'2", which is tall, but not the tallest.
Yeah.
Last year's team had Soren, and Soren's,
Right.
Soren's like 6'7".
Yeah, he's very tall.
Yeah. There's a lot of size there. Even Gabe Bodwell is like 6'4".
Yeah.
So there was a lot of size.
Last year was big.
Yeah, last year was really big.
Yeah. Sorry, is Barnes related to the...
No.
Okay.
No relation. But that's
Gotcha.
that's another thing I think that's really interesting looking at the roster of this Monte team, because Caleb Bruland is the only senior. He's out with an injury right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they have Carter Ames, Tarek Gunter, Mason Fry, Javen Painter, and Nathan Dowler, all juniors. So you get all those. Assume you get all those guys back. Those are all good players.
Yeah.
Then they have a freshman in Colton Wilson, and then you have Colton Grubb, Andrew Bruland, Brody Williamson, Caden Grubb, and Thor Barnes, all sophomores. So when you look at, and then I know the JV team really well too, because my son happens to play on it.
Right.
The freshman squad for Monte, really talented. Crew Messick's going to be a really good player. They're just small.
Yeah.
So they got guards. And the sophomore class is good and has size.
Yeah.
So I think, next year you're going to see a big jump too. And then the year after that also, when the freshman and sophomore class are juniors and seniors, that's going to be a really good team if all these kids stick with it. So future's bright for Aberdeen. We're going boys and girls programs. We got, more years to look forward to of these teams being really good.
Seems like a bunch of programs right now are pretty young.
Yeah.
So should be fun.
Yeah.
When you talk about the league as a whole for the 1A side of things, it seems like right now that it's kind of looking like Elma and Monte, but Hoquiam's lurking right there too, and that they can win on any given night because Lincoln could put up 40 if you give them the shot. So
Yeah.
It's
or does Bozic get hot?
Yeah, exactly.
And knock down 7 threes.
Yeah, so I think the biggest difference between Hoquiam and especially Monte and Aberdeen is the depth.
Yeah.
Hoquiam tends to play like 6, maybe 7 guys,
Mm-hmm.
and you just mentioned it with Monte and Aberdeen. They're just rotating guys in.
Just fresh
10
bodies.
10 deep,
Fresh bodies all the time, and
Yeah.
a bunch of different guys who can put the ball in the hoop.
Which is interesting because I wonder if it's by necessity or just by style. Because, the only reason I say that is because Nemi played under Brian Grun, who notoriously played 5 people in the state championship game. Mm-hmm. Just 5 people. That's it. Like, nope, those guys are good. And they went, and they won the state championship game, so it worked. And Nemi was one of those guys. So it's like, yeah, you don't need a break. I did it. You can do it. Suck it up.
Break? What's that?
Because I don't think Lincoln comes off the floor. And now that I'm not sure if Joey came off the floor in the game that I watched either. So I don't know. Very different styles. And I wonder if it's all by necessity or if there's more to it than that.
Yeah, I think it could be either.
Yeah.
To be honest.
We're going to take a break, come back for the...
Before that, you guys, I didn't just miss you guys talking about swimming, right?
Oh, shoot. Nope, we didn't talk about swimming.
You're bad people.
Terrible
Can you give
people.
us a recap on swimming?
I can read you the recap that Rob sent us.
Thank you, Rob and Andrew.
On Monday, Aberdeen hosted Mark Moyers and R.A. Long for a double duel meet at the YMCA of Grays Harbor.
Double duel.
Aberdeen swept the team titles 92-78 over Mark Morris and 99-74 over R.A. Long with 6 event wins in the afternoon. Zeke Olson won the 100 butterfly with a personal best time. Michael Schroeder won the diving.
Hold up.
Yes.
Zeke Olson won the butterfly.
Zeke Olson won the 100 butterfly.
Over the Monarchs.
Yes.
Nice. Sorry.
With Michael Schroeder winning the diving, Isaac Armenta winning the 100 freestyle, and Jacob Hollick winning the 100 backstroke. Olson and Hollick went 1 and 2 in the 100 fly, while Hollick, Denny Linker, and Cooper Gill went 1, 2, 3 in the 100 backstroke.
Nice.
Hollick, Cole Nylander, Olson, and Denny combined to win the 200 medley and freestyle relays. Coach Rob Burns cited Isaac Armenta, a sophomore in his first year on the team, for winning the 100 freestyle, and Zeke Olson, Cole Nylander, and Tyson Powell for strong swims.
Nice.
Their next meet is on Tuesday the 7th. They're traveling to the Evergreen State College for a 4-school meet with Aberdeen, Shelton, Capital, and Olympia.
Nice.
So that's the swimming.
Take that, Longview. Mark Morris and R.A. Long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that. There's a lot of good stuff going on with Aberdeen swimming.
That's
I feel
true.
like every time we turn around, they're winning stuff.
That's true. We got our Spivey Athlete of the Week coming up next, and the third period of our Obvious Hockey Show. But first, a commercial break.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Domashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Domashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit domashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
Thank you again to our sponsors, Spivey Realty Group and I almost said the Domashevitz Law Group, but that's not it. Jeffrey A. Domashevitz, the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. There it is. Justin, I was listening to that commercial. What is this estate people keep talking about?
The
It's what
estate
British
of Washington.
people call
is where
a
we
station wagon.
Oh, an estate.
it?
Yeah. Estate car.
What's wrong with British people, man?
Yeah.
They say so much stuff wrong.
Aluminium.
Like they think they invented the language.
Yeah. Metric system, man.
Yeah.
Messes with your
I don't
brain.
even want to say I speak English. I speak American.
American.
I don't speak like those English weirdos.
Yeah. Weirdos. Whoa.
Have you ever seen the videos?
We're
of,
really
like,
getting demonetized in England this one.
demonetized?
Demonetized.
Have you ever seen the videos where they take like British school-age kids and then give them American food and like get their reactions to it? And they're all
Blows
like,
their mind.
"Oh my gosh, this is the most amazing! Why don't we have food like this here?" Obviously, British food sucks.
Yeah. Well,
You should have seen
that's
when they try biscuits and gravy, And they're like, oh, what is this? That looks gross.
Terrible, yeah.
Gravy. This isn't gravy. Gravy is brown and runny. What is this stuff? And then they eat it and they're like, oh my God, my life has changed forever. No more beans and toast for me.
Exactly. I mean, that was the real reason why we were.
I don't know why I went to that voice.
That's the voice from the old Power Thirst commercial.
It was a weird choice.
Mother Nature will tell you to slow down.
In my mind, that's what British children sound like when they have an epiphany. When they have an epiphany.
They're just sitting. They're just sitting in class and something clicks.
What is the meaning of life? Oh, it's
Is anybody even watching this show? No, nobody's watching.
Is God real? What happens to us when we die?
I just had an apostrophe. Lightning just struck my brain. Sorry.
Do they pronounce it apostrophe or apostrophe? They say words weird, so I don't know.
There's
Apostrophe.
an OU in it.
Andrew, your thoughts?
Nope. I don't have any.
Nope.
All right, that's cool. So, should we run down the list of nominees?
Angel says that she is somebody.
Hey.
And how dare you?
Oh, Francis says bitch. I'm offended. How are we supposed to know you were watching if you didn't comment?
Yeah, that'd be weird. It's just like
not
Francis
like-
in real life. Like, how would you ever know he's? I mean, you know he's there because he's always talking.
Yeah.
We know he's watching because he's always commenting.
Oh, my dad just texted me as well, so he's watching, and he says we don't need no education. You know, so those British school kids.
Well, he might because he just used a double negative.
Isn't Pink Floyd British band?
Yes, I believe so.
So
at least they sound
don't
British.
need
yeah,
no education.
we don't need no education neither.
I'm
Triple
literally
negative.
wearing a shirt that says "Don't stop letting people not help."
Don't stop.
So maybe I
letting
need an
people
education.
not help. Yeah, you heard it here first, or wherever that T-shirt came from. Office?
No, from Impractical Jokers.
Gotcha.
That's a good show.
Yeah.
Anyway, Athlete of the Week nominees.
Scoopski potato.
Ah! You want a scoopski? I got potatoes.
Scoopski potato. Sorry. Nominations. Tarek Gunter, Montesano basketball.
Yeah.
Mason Fry, Montesano basketball. Theo Flores, Elma basketball. And Teander Olsen, Montesano basketball. Justin added people to the list.
I did.
Felicia Bell, Aberdeen wrestling. Yep. And JJ Eastman, North Beach basketball.
Monster game.
Monster.
In a win over Chief Flesh High.
You don't usually see someone with 7 blocks getting 7 steals. Wait, did he have more than that?
There should be a special name for a double-double that's blocks and steals.
Like,
whoa.
Like, is that I assume that's happened
Blocks and
before at some level.
at some
Yeah,
point,
well,
it
didn't,
probably has.
Like that, you should be so much more proud of that.
Yeah.
Didn't Quay Sodamish have a quintuple double? She played for.
Was it? I think she did, and the other name I was thinking of was there was a girl before her, I think, out there for Tahola. Had a quintuple double with points, rebounds,
It was literally
steals and assists.
10 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 10 steals, and 10 blocks. Like exactly 10
Oh,
on all
the
5 of them.
quintuple double? I was only thinking of the 4. You said
No,
quintuple.
yes.
Dang, yeah.
I
that's
think it was
nuts.
Quay Sodamish. I could have that wrong.
Yeah.
But, those B schools on the outskirts have had some really talented
Let's
players.
get some ballers.
I'm sure that if Rick and Rob were listening, they'd be proud of me for remembering that. Unless
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Then they'd be
Then
unproud.
Yeah. JJ Eastman, though, the North Beach player,
Yeah.
just to run through the stat line because it's pretty crazy. He had 26 points, 14 rebounds, 7 blocks, 7 steals. That is a monster game.
That is huge.
Felicia Bell, I mentioned she last week hit 100 wins, which is a huge
That's
milestone.
massive. That's
it's also
massive, dude.
It's a program record
Yep.
for Aberdeen girls wrestling. And then I think the story of her going to UNLV to start a program with the guy who used to be the Grays Harbor College women's wrestling coach is pretty cool.
Highly successful wrestling coach at Grays Harbor, too. Yeah. Basically made Grays Harbor wrestling a destination.
If anybody doesn't know, Grays Harbor College women's wrestling is phenomenal, nationally phenomenal.
Yes.
They just had, actually, I posted it on our Facebook, a national champion last couple weeks ago.
And it seems like every year for the past 5 years, they've had at least one.
Great wrestling program.
National champions.
Exactly. Yeah. So Division I, and women's wrestling is not a huge thing in the NCAA.
Yeah.
But in Division I, UNLV is like, let's start a wrestling program. Who do we get? Obviously, this guy from community college who's built an incredible program that beats D1 programs.
Exactly. Yep.
So that's pretty cool, because that's the one thing about women's wrestling at the Grays Harbor College level. They're wrestling against Wazoo and pretty much any women's college program there is.
Yes.
They're wrestling against each other. So for Felicia to make the decision that I could go to a school that has an established wrestling program, or I can go help build something new, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. And also, it shows the faith that she has that, hey, you've done it before, let's do it again. And I mean, I know that you listed off all the other people, but 100 wins, that's where I'm jumping to immediately.
I don't think there's a real question about it.
What?
I do want to,
an awesome week.
Before we
not to discount the other nominations, because we have a ton of great ones.
We
but
talked at pretty great length about Monte basketball, so I don't think we need to go further on Tarek, Mason, or Teander.
Yeah,
they all had great weeks.
Yep. What
I do want to reiterate Theo Flores, because this was an outside nomination that came in, and he wasn't even the highest scorer in the game, but someone who didn't know the stats but watched the game had sent in a nomination and said this is a guy who had a huge impact. But he had 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals in the Eagles' win over Rochester. So that was a good game, and he's had other great games too. I think of him as a very good defensive player, pesky defensive player. He's had several at least a few double-digit scoring totals also this season.
He was up there on our Defensive Player of the Year awards last year, I believe.
Yeah.
So
but it's got to be Felicia Bell.
Yeah, I'm all in. Felicia Bell, 100th career win, which is a very rare feat in high school wrestling, and then also letter of intent to go to UNLV. Yeah, Felicia Bell, congratulations. On top of those feats, this is now your best feat. Your left feet. No, I'm just kidding. It's I don't know why the left feet would be the better one than the right one. But
it's probably the one that you jump off of most regularly when you're
It used to be until I blew out my Achilles.
Okay.
Then now I'm solely a 2-foot jumper.
Oh,
now.
You don't just go straight up right foot? Are you afraid to blow out the other Achilles?
Yeah.
Okay. I once jumped off of 2 feet and strained my calf, so anything can happen.
I also once jumped off of 2 feet.
I don't believe you.
Felicia Bell, you are Spivey Athlete of the Week. Thank you so much for putting in the work. Wrestling is super hard, and you deserve all the credit that you are getting, and we're excited about your future wrestling career at UNLV. Go get it. Thank you again to our sponsors as well, Spivey Realty Group, for sponsoring the Spivey Athlete of the Week.
Perfect. So then we do have the third period of our hockey show.
Yeah, our hockey show.
Which, it's funny that we never talk about hockey, but we have the show structured like a hockey show.
Yes. So, Tiggy says Francis says that Tiggy says that Francis said, no, I'm just kidding. Tiggy says that the Chiefs are throwing the game against the Broncos, calling the fix egregious.
Yeah.
Chiefs are not Who Day Nation. I don't know what Who Day Nation is, but I don't think that's right. And then obscure Christy Brown reference, Daniel. Bravo, sir. Christy Brown? What did I reference?
I don't know who that is. Who is that?
I don't know. But apparently I referenced them. Did it on purpose, Francis. Possibly. What's happening in the Chiefs game, Andrew?
They announced
I have no idea. Why would
days ago that they were sitting everybody because they've already locked up the 1 seed. So they said Mahomes wasn't going to play, Kelsey wasn't going to play. I don't know what happened in the game.
Oh, Bengals, Who Day. I'm pretty sure that's not spelled D-A-Y, though. And I'm not even a Bengals fan.
It's D-E-Y.
I'm pretty sure it's D-E-Y, my guy.
From the Saints? Wasn't the Saints Who Dat Nation?
Saints are Who Dat. Bengals are Who Day.
That seems...
Both of them don't know how to spell.
Seahawks are D's nuts.
in this one, the Bengals are kind of lame. Like, the Saints were there first, right?
I don't know who was there first.
Yeah.
I am not going to claim to know which terrible franchise was there first with their weird saying.
I forgot the Bengals had a chance to sneak into the
The
playoffs.
Jaguars
my
are
left
the
foot,
weirdest,
Daniel
though.
Day-Lewis.
Isn't their thing their county? Isn't it Duval County?
What?
The Jaguars is like yelling the name of the county.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from, but it's pretty.
Where
pretty
does
awesome.
the Seahawks one come from?
Brit spell it day. Yeah, we
Marshawn,
already.
Marshawn Justin. Also, I don't think that's actually the Seahawks. I don't think anybody's other than Marshawn.
Nope, we're making it a thing. Yeah.
That's it. I was trying to, good reading of the comments. Let's segue into the commercial break, and on the other side of that, we're going to do 2-minute drill and then probably end the show.
Brits spell it DAY.
Spivey Realty Group's goal is to make buying, selling, investing, and renting real estate in Grace Harbor simple. They believe in 100% transparency and unparalleled communication with local expertise, tech-enhanced, and top-notch service for their friends, neighbors, and community. Their goal is simple: get a group of strong-willed, hard-working people together who want to make a difference in Grace Harbor and to use real estate as the means of achieving that. Voted Grace Harbor's best real estate company. Find them on Facebook or visit graceharborrealestate.com. Spivey Realty Group, elevating small town real estate.
Thank you again to our sponsors, the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz and Spivey Realty Group, the sponsor of our Spivey Athlete of the Week, which we just named, Felicia Bell, for her awesome wrestling.
Congratulations.
Boom.
Let's drill it in 2 minutes.
Wait, first I wanted to. I thought of another team slogan that I actually is like on the other side of like I'm kind of jealous of it. The Go Tigers, where they spell it French with GEUX.
For LSU?
I think that's cool.
I think that's dumb, and French people are silly.
I think it's cool because of the French Louisiana ties. Like I just think that's dope.
Go Tigers. When you said it, I was like, go Tigers? That's when you're
Isn't
jealous
it Tigers?
of? I think you're right.
LSU, it's LSU Tigers.
I wasn't aware
Tigers.
of it, and so all I knew is that it was Go Tigers, and I was like, wait, what?
Is that
You're
like
not
because
aware
of
of that?
New Orleans and like the French Quarter or whatever?
Yeah, Baton Rouge.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
where they play. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all French and junk.
Okay,
Oh,
you guys.
no.
I agree with you, Daniel. It's dumb.
You guys ready for the 2-minute drill?
I think so.
Let's go, huddle up! Gotta hurry. Hey, 2-minute situation, 44 seconds, hand the ball around. Gonna do it right. 3 jet Buckeye, don't worry.
The 2-minute drill starts now.
With the college football playoff down to the final 4 teams and second-seeded Georgia falling to Notre Dame in the quarterfinals, the only SEC team left is Texas. Daniel, does this tell us anything about the dreaded Southeastern Conference?
Yeah, it tells us that their possibly best team could barely beat Arizona State, which was a trash Pac-12 team before the conference was decimated. Literally, Arizona State? That's your king? Arizona State?
That was a great game.
Yeah, and then Texas gets lucky on like a 4th and forever to somehow win that game. Yeah, the dreaded SEC. Somebody go gargle something else. Disgruntled Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler wants to be traded. What? Doesn't this happen like every year with him? Would a trade to Memphis, New York, Dallas, Denver, or Golden State make Butler happy? Will he ever be happy?
I would love to live in a world someday where disgruntled Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler could be gruntled, but I just don't see it happening. Everywhere he's ever been, he just gets mad. There's always, he doesn't always come out and say it, but there's always some kind of rumor about him not being happy and wanting to be traded. So maybe if he goes to one of these teams and they're competitive, he could be happy for a little while, but eventually he's always going to be mad again.
Jimmy never gruntled Butler.
Daniel, have the Mariners done anything recently to make the team better in the offseason? Like, seriously, at all? Because if they have, I didn't hear about it.
Neither have I. They've done nothing. They've done poop. They've done squat. They have done any other name for excrement you can think of, and it's stupid and dumb, and people keep signing other places, and I'm upset about it. Justin, if you were the Minnesota Vikings, would you try to re-sign Sam Darnold after his MVP level season? That's just a weird sentence.
Yeah, it is.
Or would you let him go and roll with last year's first round pick, David McCarthy?
I think it is an interesting question because having Sam Darnold, he's only like 28 years old. So, yeah, you could sign him and roll with him for a few more years, but you really want, like with the talent they have on this team, to take advantage of the rookie window and just sign a bunch of free agents. I understand the idea that you want Sam Darnold, but at this point, if you get him, you're going to have to pay him like $40 million a year. That's probably what his going rate's going to be. So would you be better off just trusting your scouting on J.J. McCarthy? I've heard several people say now that if J.J. McCarthy was in this year's quarterback class, he'd be the number one quarterback. So I think it's crazy to say when you have a quarterback play as well as Sam Darnold has that you let him go. I think you let him go and roll with JJ.
Sorry.
So is he a free agent after this year?
Yes. He's playing on like a 1 year, $10 million deal or something.
That's
I was
crazy.
trying to guess when you were going to finish, and you kept on faking me out.
I did, yeah. I did the Andy Bernard of continuing my sentence with all its crescendoing Baroque independent clauses. Yeah. So there's that. I like the fact that the Seahawks game is on right now, but it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Because they're mathematically eliminated. I also think it's kind of funny that the Patriots screwed themselves out of having the number 1 overall pick by beating the Bills today. It's kind of funny, but also I'm sort of a Patriots fan now because Drake May is there and, he's a Tar Heel. So all I really want is for the Patriots to be able to get some good players like receivers and linemen to go around him so he can be successful.
Because you want Drake May to be good.
Yeah.
All right. I have an impromptu Stump Justin segment.
Boy. I put that we were probably going to skip this.
Is it time for Daniel's favorite part of the show?
Serving questions up on a silver platter where the points are made up and the rules don't matter. Time for Stump
Justin. Okay, Justin. Time for some Red Raider trivia.
Okay.
Mister, I'm a Texas Tech fan when I want to be and whenever Patrick Mahomes does something awesome. So, Justin, top 3 passers by yardage in Red Raider history.
Career.
Red Raider career?
Yes. Well, this was like all these guys were pre-portal. So
Yeah. Graham Harrell.
Ding.
Number 1.
Nailed it. Number 1. Atta boy.
Cliff
15,793 yards.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Nailed it yet again. In order. 12,429 yards.
I literally can't think of another good Texas Tech quarterback. So I know it's wrong, but I'm just going to say Mahomes.
That is correct.
Are you serious?
In order. He only played 3 years, but he still cracks the top 3, outpacing the next guy by like 6,000 yards. He had 11,252. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
We move on to a slightly tougher category.
More? We could just stop there.
Rushing.
That was like a miracle.
Oh, that was pretty awesome. Rushing yards, all-time history. This is going to be much harder because, from the looks of it, Texas Tech has never ran the ball in their life.
Yeah, no, they were a run and shoot offense.
I'll give you, if you get 1 out of the top 5, I'll be impressed. So just,
Did
I'll
any of
give
them
you,
play in the NFL?
There's some names that looked like they might have been running backs who bounced around the NFL at one point. There's one name that definitely isn't the person who also has his name.
Adrian Peterson.
No. Close, though.
Adrian
Marshawn
Peterman.
Lynch?
Is it Adrian Peterman?
No, that's not Adrian Peterman. I meant close as in, like, name of an extremely successful college running back who had a pretty good... Well, I guess Adrian Peterson had an amazing NFL career. This guy had a good NFL career, I'd say.
Herschel Walker.
No, you should stop guessing things like that.
I cannot think of a single Texas Tech running back.
Okay. And you want me to list them for you?
I give up, yeah.
Taj Brooks.
Okay.
Byron Hanspard.
Yeah. Oh, Hanspard. He's old
James
man Hanspard's
Gray.
boy. Okay.
Ricky Williams.
Oh, yeah.
That was the name I was saying. Bam Morris. All right, Justin. Back to the passing section.
Definitely in the dookie zone.
But in the receiving section. Since they threw so much, you should be able to know some of these receiver guys.
Okay.
Receiving yards. All-time receiving yards.
Michael Crabtree.
It's number 2.
Sorry, receiver like Crabtree?
He was so good in college. 41 touchdowns.
Wes Welker.
He's number 3.
The dropping drop.
Yeah,
Wait,
the dropping dropper and the sorry receiver.
Yep. That's awesome.
Is the number 1 guy a guy who played in the NFL? Is a name you recognize?
He's not a name I recognize, but
Yeah.
he was really good by his numbers.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to get it.
Really good.
I give up. I'll take my 2 and go home.
And pass. The name you were looking for was Jakeem Grant.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jakeem Grant.
Never would have gotten that.
He was a 6th-round draft pick to the Miami Dolphins. And he was a 6th-round draft pick to the Miami Dolphins. I don't know if he did anything.
He was drafted in the 6th round.
By the Miami Dolphins.
By the Miami Dolphins. That's going to do it for Stump Justin today. I would say that your perfecto portion of the passing was good.
Okay.
And then the rushing was just real bad. And then it was a mediocre performance in the receiving. So I will give you the Red Raider zone.
I like it.
Oh.
It was just above the Wolfpack zone. Okay. It wasn't Dookie, just above the Wolfpack. It was in the Red Raider, definitely not the...
Wolfpack's a rough zone. Like, you got to worry about getting beat up if you're in there.
Definitely not the sticky feet
Well, yeah,
zone.
if you're wearing light blue.
Yeah. Didn't quite make it to the sticky feet zone.
Okay.
The Tar Heels.
Man.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Sticky
I don't
feet?
like the sticky feet.
Yeah, it's kind of gross when you think about it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have sticky feet. You're a fan of a team named that's Sticky Feet.
I do not like
How do you like that?
I don't like it.
Francis says, calm down, Daniel. Syracuse is your daddy, Coug boy. If the Cougars had any part of their team actually playing in that game, then yeah, we might be able to talk. But, you know, nobody was there. Like,
we're just excited that a random quarterback didn't look horrible for us.
Yeah, and that our I don't know, one of our tight ends got a sack.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
Like, our tight ends were playing defensive line. That was bonkers. All right, well, we had a goal, and it was to have a quick show because Andrew's got something weird, like a birthday party to go to or something.
Hey, Daniel, happy birthday. Tomorrow's your birthday, isn't it?
It's not my birthday party that you're going to. Okay,
It's
good. Because I didn't know about it.
Funny. Surprise!
But tomorrow is your birthday.
Yes,
right?
tomorrow is my
happy
birthday.
Daniel.
Oh, why, thank you.
I would wish you a happy birthday if I were the type of person to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, but you hate birthdays. And you hate people who celebrate birthdays.
If Justin were a little bit quicker on his feet, he would wish you a happy birthday because he considers you a 12-year-old girl.
Thanks for helping him out there, Andrew.
I think we should end our most efficient show of all time.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Well done by us. We're efficient.
Good job, guys.
So for my co-host, Daniel, Brits spell it D-A-Y, Hargrove.
And my co-host, Justin Demonetized Damashevitz.
And our trusty producer, Andrew, Seahawks are D's nuts gross. It's funny because it's D's nuts gross. Like, that's pretty good.
It's so good.